This is what really gets the tortillas good. In the recipe it told me, make sure you take a full shot of rum if you really want to roll out your tortillas to the perfection you need them to be. What's up, guys? Welcome to Kristen's Bikini Kitchen. You might have seen me before in the tropical island of Andros where I made conch salad and I cut up the conch on my leg instead of a cutting board. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're making homemade tortillas and a nice salsa that most people on their boats can make. Now before you say, Kristen, this ain't no kitchen, this is a galley, stop typing now because Bikini Kitchen sounds better than Bikini Galley. So let's get to the store and get our ingredients and dive right in. Pretty hot day. We have a few places we have to stop because each grocery store has a few different produce items. We want to make a vegetarian option for tacos, and then we're going to try to get some meat too. So we went to the first grocery store and we got a few items, but that was mainly for like our canned items because they normally have cleaner looking cans. Now we're gonna go to a few of the produce places to get some produce. Alright, so here we have some meat hanging. We might get some of this. Sometimes it's questionable. You really gotta look to see how many flies here at the carniceria. Alright, so it was pretty difficult to gather everything up. You gotta go to different stores to get different produce. We also sweated our faces off and I'm dying. It's still hot. It's really hot out here in the Dominican, but you know what? A little sweat really adds to the tortillas. So first you want to start off with a decent sized bowl. I'm making a recipe of 15. I've looked through almost a dozen recipes and I've tried a dozen of them online. This is the best one. I'll link it down below to follow. So you want to make sure that you have lard though. Lard is a big deal when it comes to tortillas. You can substitute shortening is okay and then butter, but you don't really want that. You want lard. So start off with flour. We want to do 3 3/4 cups of flour. Luckily, my assistant has helped me already and poured my flour in all the containers so I can just put it in. Okay, so you want to mix all your dry ingredients up together first. But while that's happening, there's one thing you need to be doing. You need to warm up 1 1/3 cup of water, and you want it to actually be hot. You don't need to boil, but you want it to be hot. So while that's warming up, you want to get 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen a previous... Is this even the right... Is this even the right measuring cup? Whatever. I think this is right. I'm not sure if you guys have seen my previous cooking video, but I was in South Andros and I made a bikini kitchen outside. And I pretty much cut conch up on my leg as a cutting board, so I'll make sure to link that video above so you can check that one out. Okay, so really stir all your dry ingredients together first. You really want that well blended. And if you're wondering why am I making this in a big old pot, it's because Matt threw out all my bowls. Okay, so once you get your dry ingredients well blended, then you're gonna wanna put in your lard. I suggest getting one of these handy dandy spatulas to get out of the thing, you know what I'm saying?
You can always use your finger.
You can use your finger, not me. Okay, so once you get that in there, you want to basically mush it all around to like a crummy substance, I guess would be the term. See how it's nice and crummy? I think you're supposed to use your hands, but I really can't stand like a floury feeling. You really want to blend it all up to get it crummy. Most people probably use their hands, but I hate the feeling of flour on my fingers. Kind of like a chalkboard feeling. Ugh. Oh no, I think the water is boiling. Now someone's fingers are going to be burning, and it's not going to be the chefs, it's going to be the assistants. So I'm making my handy dandy assistant pour in the hot water into the pot, and then he mushes it up to make a dough ball.
Ooh, it's hot. And you want to pour it in slowly, not all at once.
Okay, so once you get your dough ball, you want to put it down on a floured surface, lightly floured. You don't want too much flour. I made that mistake once. It came out like poo-poo. So just knead it until it's smooth. Just like that. Once you get your dough ball smooth, you want to pretty much split it into 15 even balls. I sometimes do whatever size I feels right. It really depends on what size tortillas you want. Alright, I'm getting kind of nervous because some reason, I don't know if it's the humidity or what it is, but some reason it's feeling stickier than normal. But I don't want to add too much flour because that's when it gets really gross. Okay, so once you got your even 15 balls, you gotta put them together. You gotta roll them up and then put them together, and we're gonna have to let them rest. So get them all together in a row. So while you let them rest, you want to use wet paper towels to cover them. And you want it to rest for about 15 minutes. Sometimes I like to let them rest longer. If you start rolling them and they keep squishing in, that means you didn't let them rest long enough. So let your balls rest on the countertop, and we'll start something else in the kitchen. So while that's resting, let's start on our black bean corn salsa. You just need 2 cans of black beans, but you want to make sure and rinse them, because if you don't, then it's going to be not a good salsa. It's going to be like a goo soup. It's going to be like a soup. Okay? So, I already pre-rinsed them so I didn't waste your guys' time. See, check this thing out. This really helps out on a boat when you have collapsible items. I just need a collapsible bowl though instead of this big old juggernaut. Anyways, next you want to drain a can of corn. I already drained this also. Next you want to cut up a tomato. I'm going to use 3 smaller ones, but you can use like 1 whole one if you want, 1 large one. Next you want to put in a red onion. Just throw out the old shitty skin right out the window because you're on a boat, you know? I changed my hair up. You might want to call me Mariah Carey. Sometimes you need to change up your look during the middle of your video. Now it's time for some cilantro. I'm just going to cut a little bit up. Normally I like to put a lot in there, but I couldn't find that much fresh cilantro here. So we're going to use what we got. But next you want to put in about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. I like a lot of garlic, so sometimes I put more in. Normally you'd want to put a jalapeno in. It's really good, spicy, but we couldn't find one. So we might put red pepper flakes in, but don't do that because it's probably not the same. Probably won't be as good. So you go out and you find yourself a jalapeno. Okay, so then after that you want to put in, squeeze some lime juice in there. Then you want to hit it up with some salt and pepper. Just to your liking. No proper measurements, you know. Alright, then you want to drizzle in some olive oil. And I like to do 2 capfuls of rice vinegar. Alright, finally you can stir that ish up. And you want it to sit, I think I might put it in a Ziploc baggie and sit in the cooler overnight, because the longer it sits and soaks up the flavors, the better it is. Okay, so this wasn't very brown, so we're going to an old Presidente bottle. So pull one of your balls out, and you want a lightly floured ground. These are really soft, so I'm really nervous about, oh, whoops, I gotta get my pan going. You want to get your pan going at the same time. I say put it on medium high, closer to high. When I went to like a medium heat, I felt like it wasn't going properly. That's a big ordeal that could really F up your tortillas. Okay, so while that's going, put down your ball, and this is a trick. You want to roll it. I didn't flour my pin enough. So shoot. Alright, you want to roll it oh my god. Okay, so you want to roll your ball one way. So north and south is what I would say, since we're all sailors here, right? You want to roll it that way just a little bit, and then instead of going, oh, I want to make it round, I'm going to roll this way and this way, no. You want to then take it and turn it 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Oh, I feel like I need more flour on here. Oh, shenanigans are happening, y'all. This is not going to plan. Okay, so once you roll it out, then you just want to pull it up and put it on the pan. You're going to want to wait till it bubbles a little bit, and that's the little brown spots. Once it bubbles, then you flip it over real quick, and then after that you want to just lay it down on a wet paper towel. Alright, here you go, taste test.
Wait, we gotta cheers it. We worked hard for these tortillas. Here's to you, darling.
Oops.
Actually, it is really good.
Alright guys, so if you like this video, make sure you thumbs it up. Share it with a friend if you thought it was funny. So make sure you comment down below if you tried it out, and subscribe. Bye. Okay, so pull one of your balls out. Alright, okay, so while we're letting our balls sizzle, then you're gonna put in, then you're gonna wanna, oh god, I just put some in my pocket. Makes me wanna gag. Oh gosh, things are really exploding around here. Alright, let's get started on the black bean corn salsa. You can pretty much make this pretty much pretty much you can
make this pretty much.
Okay. Beep. Alright. Next you want to cut up some tomato. I'm gonna use what I could find pretty much with the produce store that wasn't rotting. That sounds so rude. I'm just gonna use what that was all of it.
Okay.
Jesus Christ! Making a cooking show is really not as easy as you would think it is. What do you talk about this whole time when you're doing this, you know? Just sitting here really just grinding this thing, grind it, and then I feel like, wow, that's really inappropriate. What the hell am I even saying?